Hallo und herzlich willkommen hier im Goldenen Hans. Mein Name ist Markus Müller. Ich werde so ein bisschen durch den Tag moderieren und auch ein paar technische Hinweise geben. Wir werden das hauptsächlich auf Englisch machen heute, weil wir 3 Gäste haben, die eben Englisch verstehen. Also ich schalte jetzt um auf Englisch. Wenn es Fragen auf Deutsch gibt, jederzeit gerne, übersetzen wir und so weiter. So from now on, I'm going to speak in English. My name is Markus Müller. Welcome to everybody here at Goldener Hans and also online. Just be aware that you have to log in to the YouTube channel so that you can ask questions later. I'm going to quickly introduce the panel and we will go through all our guests. Please collect your questions and we will have Q&A after everybody spoke. In case there are any misunderstandings, in case you want to clarify details, please feel free to interrupt and ask anytime. Without further ado, Rainer Michalke, Artistic Director of Monheim Triennale, Shazad Ismaili, one of our musicians, Daniel Zimmermann, the mayor of Monheim am Rhein, and online and on the monitors here, I welcome Hibo Elmi from Kampala, Uganda, and Sophia Jernberg from Stockholm. And here she is. Hi, Sophia.
Oh, hello.
We can see you. So I'm hoping that Hibo, who has been with us a couple of times today already, will join us shortly. We're going to proceed anyway, and I'll give the word to Daniel Zimmermann, please.
Okay, thank you, Markus Müller. So welcome to the city of Monheim. I'm glad that you're here and that you're interested in hearing about the Triennale, about the program. I would like to keep it short to make it possible that we have more time for the questions afterwards. I'd like to stress out that last year we thought that it would be a little bit unfortunately that we weren't able to have the festival last year due to the Corona crisis. But from the point of view of today, we can see that it was also good luck that we weren't able to have the festival as it was planned before, because we were able to attend a wonderful prequel. It was a great opportunity for the artists, in my opinion, to get to know each other and to create also common projects for this year. But it was also a good opportunity for the citizens of Monheim to get into contact with music that many of them might never have heard before. And so many people in the city were very curious and had the possibility to get into contact with the artist, with the music, and to become even more curious about what will be happening this year. Maybe it's important to give you the three main reasons why a small city like Monheim is having a festival like this one. I would like to tell you the story that we in Monheim are very enthusiastic about culture, music, cultural education is very important for us. So in all the fields of cultural education, the city is involved to bring young people, children into contact with art, music. About 60% of our primary school students learn an instrument, which is a very high rate compared to other cities in Germany. And seeing this, it is important to us also to have like cultural flagships to inspire young people, to make it possible that artists will get to know children and work with them. And I'm very thankful that some of the artists agreed to have workshops with children. We'll hear about that afterwards. And this is also a big purpose for us to have a festival like this. Well, on the other hand, yeah, I've spoken about cultural flagships. We want also to attract people from the region, those who are interested in contemporary music, to Monheim. Cultural education is not only seen as a purpose for young people, but also for adults. Many of them maybe have not had any contact to contemporary music yet, and it's also our responsibility to make concerts, in this case, possible for adults from the region as well. And the third main reason is maybe that in Germany, unlike than in many other countries, there's a lot of space for local authorities to promote art and music. So the federal government leaves a lot of space for the regions and for the local communities, and we will take this responsibility to create a festival like this. So thank you in advance to the artists, which I had the pleasure to meet already last year. I was really looking forward to what we will be hearing this year. And thank you also, Mr. Rainer Michalke, for the planification and the preparation of the festival. I'm really looking forward to.
Thank you.
As you were speaking...
So just...
Oh yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
Hibo is with us, so we're complete. Welcome,
good.
Hibo. Good to see you.
I was going to say, Daniel, as you were speaking, a couple of things occurred to me. I'm sitting next to someone that is in government, and I live in the U.S. And in the U.S., especially right now, we typically have extreme sarcasm and cynicism about government, about what it can do, what it can achieve, what it will probably do, what it probably won't do. And as you were talking, I was thinking, really, any of these structures can either be engaging and create vibrancy and beauty in the world, or they can create death and suffering. And the way you were speaking about how your choice and how government unfolds and introduces the arts to children and brings this kind of a festival to the town, it just reminds me that any structure can be done in whatever way you wish to. Like I was imagining, if you have something as mundane as a post office, the typical post office is you walk in, you have your package, you go to the counter, you pay for it, your package leaves. What if you made a post office, not you specifically, Daniel, but what if one made a post office where those people who run that particular building decided to put many free postcards at the front of the door and many free pens, and then just a box of stamps? What does it cause? What outcome does it cause? On one particular day, you walk in the door and you have 5 extra minutes. You have your package, you want to deliver it, but you have a few extra minutes. You see the postcard, you pull it down, you see the pen, you write a note to a friend, you just hand it over with the package. What does it do? And it's the same structure. There's many post offices in the world, but you can still do everything in a different fashion. And so it's incredibly moving to come here during the prequel. And before I came, when Rainer called me, then I Googled, okay, who the fuck is this Daniel Zimmerman? Where is this town? And of course, at first I was like, Monheim? No, okay, well, that's not it, whatever. So I was finding it. And then I read a little bit about you. And not only was I excited to come and be part of a festival, but I was excited to come and support where you're aiming your energy, because everything has a resonance, like you throw a stone in the lake, and then there's a ripple that takes place. The other thing I wanted to say, second thing I wanted to say quickly is that even in festivals, you can have different layers of resonance or additional creations. Many times musicians go to a music festival and they think, okay, this is the least interesting stop on our tour. We'll do all the clubs are going to be great, we'll suffer through this festival because it just gives us enough money to do the whole tour. Now, the first time I didn't feel that way was when I went to the MERS festival. And the reason was someone, possibly Reiner, possibly someone else, don't know who is responsible exactly, but someone made these morning improvisation sessions. Usually at a festival, you land, you don't talk to the other musicians, you play, you leave. Once those morning improvisations happened, more musicians were having lunch with each other, taking walks with each other, having breakfast with each other. The whole feeling of the festival changed. This band went to go see this other band's concert just because they did an improvisation that morning. So that's one layer where, like the post office example, it becomes a different kind of festival. And if the additional layer is interacting with children and having them perform, then it just becomes more like flowers. Okay, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not easy to take over from this point. You know?
That was my plan.
Yeah, so it's all improvised here. So okay, yeah, thank you, Shazad. That was me, by the way, with the morning session.
That was
so
you, I was
sure,
wondering.
yeah, okay. But on the other hand, it was an old tradition in MERS in different ways. So so my predecessor started it. In fact, yeah. How to start? Some of you were here, I guess, 2 years ago, or more than 2 years ago, when we had the very first press conference here, and nobody really knew the word Corona, or we just started to learn it. And I remember then when a few people coming from Cologne and went back with the bus, they were a little bit. There was something going on. We didn't know what happened. So there was something in the air, and there was something danger in the air. Yes. So, and I remember that very well. So the very first festival should have been taken place in 2020, and.
I was laughing because I started to put my mask on.
Yes. And we had to postpone it, and then we had the prequel, which was a nice experience. And now we're going to have the real version of the festival now coming up in June this year, hopefully. But
yeah, you never know. It's true.
But we hope that it will happen. And yes, and it was interesting also to see. So when in preparing for this one, we went through the books and saw the communication from the 2020. And it was interesting to see the differences between what we announced in 2020 and what is happening 2 years later. And it was very interesting to see, is there a difference, or is there a difference in the projects? There's for sure a difference in the lineup of musicians. So there has been changes for several reasons. But also the projects have changed. And just to bring back in your memory, the principal idea of the Monheim Triennale is not just to bring, as Shazad said, bands that come in, fly out, and just play. It's more. So what we try to make to be different, in terms that we invite musicians for the whole period of the festival, staying here in Monheim, or even come beforehand and do something. Maybe we'll talk about later what you've done here the last days. But to stay here and to present. Not only their what we call signature projects, this is what we wanted to present today, but also to learn each other, to meet each other, and to play and perform in front of an audience together. And that makes, I think, also the difference what we felt together when we had the prequel. We all met new people in a way, and So, but what we want to do today is not talking about this. This is another thing. So we could fill a few hours with this one, but we want to present the signature projects today, and also to let you all know when, on what day is happening what, because we were always asked what is happening on what day. Now we're more or less sure that there's still some room for changes as things are changing, and and our musicians always are coming up with new ideas, I would say. Even today I got some more on my mailbox, some more additional ideas, so we'll see whether they fit, what we can do. So, but it's an organic process, this program. It's not fixed since a few years. It's really still on the move. But we can announce some very tough signature projects today. What we decided is not that we will present all the 16 different projects. That would take too much time. We want to just focus on the musicians we have here around with us. You can see Sophia on my left-hand side. Sophia is in Stockholm Airport, right? And yes, fantastic.
Yeah, that's correct.
And we have Hibo on my right-hand side, and Hibo is in
Hello,
Kampala,
hello.
right? Hello. So I want to give maybe Hibo the first word. Maybe whatever you wanted to tell you. So my question is, what are you going to present in Monheim this year, Hibo?
First, I want to say sorry for being late. We have bad internet around here.
Wait, but you were early.
But
I,
I'm
I
here.
heard you signed on like an hour ago.
Yeah, because I live in the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so basically, I'm so happy to see you guys first, Monham family. And so basically, what we're doing is this time we're bringing artists from Kampala and from the UK performing with me. And we're focusing on some kind of ritualistic performance. Rather than just like people dancing, we want to connect with our ancestors, maybe your ancestors. And the band I'm performing with is called Niloxica. We have one synth player, and we have a percussionist. And we have also 3 drummers from Uganda. Sorry, my voice broke. And then after that, we're going to do a show called Ruhan, where me and my twin sister will be doing the vocals. Wait, my network's stuck.
We can still hear you though.
Oh, dope. Okay, that's good. So I keep cutting and then I keep forgetting what I was saying, but let's get back to the point. So yeah, we're going to do Ruhan, about spirits, about ancestors, and trying to mix the modern world with the ancient world and create our own translation of new sounds. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds interesting. How many players are in Niloxica? How many musicians are coming with you?
5. So the synth player, the drummer, and the 3 percussionists. And yeah, my twin sister. So
Sounds good. What? Maybe you tell us also, if you want, something about your experience last year here in Monheim with the prequel and Shazad and the other guys. Maybe.
I would love to.
So we have some
honestly,
hours, so no worries.
So basically, Monheim Triennale, the whole festival took me out of my comfort zone. And honestly, even Shazad was one of the people that pushed me to collaborate and told me to get out of my comfort zone and not to be anxious and that we're family. So it kind of opened a big port in my heart where I can explore and connect. And it was the first time I experienced that was in the Monheim Triennale, because other shows people are in the backstage or they want to be alone. And it was the first time where I felt like I'm in a collective of people who had no ego or nothing but love and care. So that was my experience. And also the staff, just seeing them with their family and also running big things, that was so inspiring for me. They really cared for us and they made sure everything was good. And thank you, Rainer, also for this opportunity. It was life-changing for me, honestly.
Thank you, but now you should also say something critical. Otherwise, it sounds too good for us. But so Shahzad is back again. So all the ones are back. So you good. So Sophia, when I was talking at the beginning of the changing of projects, I remember quite well when we've talked. This is maybe 3 or 4 years ago about your very first idea for 2020. But this has changed completely to a completely other project, what you're going to present this year. Maybe you'll tell us a bit about what's coming up this year.
Yes, I will. I'm sorry for the sounds around here, but
It's
I
okay.
can't really control that. Yeah, okay. Yes, yeah, we spoke with something else, and then COVID and everything changed the plan, and that's normal. I mean, it's over 2 years ago we started speaking. So yeah, now we ended up in collaboration with you and also Louis Rastik, I think is his pronunciation, one of the curators, with this kind of international unifying project where we will be. I'm a singer and also a composer, and I've also invited Oh Kyung Lee in the cello player, and Corey Smythe, the piano player, and Peter Evans to arrange music from both Europe but also from Korea and Ethiopia, where I have Ethiopian ancestry and Oh Kyung has Korean ancestry. So kind of, yeah, and it's going to be a very rich program with folk songs from African, Asia, and the Nordic sphere, and also jazz tunes. Peter Evans will be arranging Duke Ellington, Billy Strayhorn, and music, and Corey will take on Rameau, the French composer. Yeah, so yeah, it's very. Yeah, and then there's this string orchestra involved from Germany, Hamburg. Is their center, Ensemble Resonance, and I think I've tried to count how many because you asked Thibaut. I don't know exactly, but it's like 15, I think, maximum.
Wait,
Around
50?
15.
50?
No.
15.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, wow. Great.
Five.
Great.
Yeah. Something a little bit less maybe. I'm sorry. Yes, so that's kind of the idea of this. So this is a collaborated piece. It will be, and I'm looking forward to this so much, and I'm very very happy that I have gotten the chance to do this and to invite these fantastic musicians that I really adore. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we have to tell people that you will do some rehearsal days in Hamburg with the Ensemble Resonance and all the soloists, right?
Yes, and that's really like very privileged that we can collaborate with them and use their rehearsal space. So we will be doing that for 2 days, I think, and then we will come to Monheim and experience the festival and also play. So yeah, this is really great. We also have a conductor with us, which helps also a lot. He will be conducting some and all, maybe all of the pieces. I don't really know now. Yeah.
Great. What about your experiences with the prequel? So with Shahzad, for example. So he's
It was no, also I can't really, I agree with everything that Shahzad said, and I can't do that better. I was very, like, also very privileged to be able to do any music at all during that time, and then meeting all these people from around the world, and Hibo especially because. I've wanted for a long time to connect with younger generation from East Africa, and there she was. So that was really great for me personally. And Shahzad, it really is super nice to meet and to play. We also played in the prequel and also with the singer. Oh my God, I have blackout. What's his name now?
Sam
Sorry.
Amidon?
Yes,
Sam
and that was
Amidon, yeah.
really, really great. Yeah, Sam Amidon. And also, I've been wanting a long time to to play that kind of material, what we played, kind of like I think he said it was like campfire songs or something like that, and to do that with Americans who are that's their heritage. I mean, that's their that was great for me. Yeah, no, I met many people that I will remember and keep in touch with.
Yeah, I feel the same. It makes my heart feel full to see both of you, Sophia and Ihibo. I still remember what an incredibly lovely experience it was to play with both of you there. And also, like I was saying earlier, just spend the time occasionally taking a walk or having a conversation or having a meal, and how it brought all of the fabric of all of us being there more complexly together, more complexly interwoven in this landscape of being here. I was going to say earlier that geography is a funny thing. It takes time to really touch down and to feel a place. And so it was very lucky for all of us to have this prequel, because now coming back this June, there's a familiarity and there's like a softness and a sweetness to all the locations, simply because we were there before, we inhabited them before, we passed by them before.
Yes, and I would like to add, if I may, that I really appreciated the creativity in the prequel, that it was easy to just, spontaneously do something, and I was actually also encouraged. So that was very, very unique, not normal in my regular musician life. Yeah.
Totally agree with that. One time, Sam, I don't know, remember whose idea was, either Sam Amadon or Robert Landforman, or me, one of us said, let's go play on that ferry boat. And it was just ridiculously, it was a ridiculous idea because the motor of the ferry boat was at least 4 times louder than any of us. So we're there, and Robert has his double bass, and Sam has his banjo, and I have a little snare drum, and we're playing, and we could barely hear each other. And then the ferry boat just kept crossing back and forth over the river here. Is so lovely.
Piviperbötchen. Not against.
Is that the name of
That's the name of the ferry. Yeah, it's a small. It's
typical classic American ferry name.
Right. Yeah, thank you all very much.
May I try to squeeze in the first question?
Good luck, yeah.
This is one from the chat, and I'm just simply going to paraphrase it. It's directed to Shahzad. And basically the question is, a lot has changed since you first joined Monheim Triennale. You have a new president now. There's also COVID. But you seem to be one who doesn't have a signature project. Maybe it's and so the question is, and also to Rainer, why doesn't, first to you, Shahzad, why don't you have a signature project? And what are the signature projects, Rainer?
Great. So I'll take the Shahzad question. So there's a very beautiful and long and complex answer to that. So I'm just going to give the long story. So there's Rainer on my right, and he says, dream. Now, I'm not used to doing that. I had one, this is going to be the very long version. Okay, I had one main dream, which was that, could I be a musician, play with other musicians, and travel, and just have that life experience? And I was very, very lucky that that dream started very strongly, maybe about 17 years ago. And that's basically been the dream, and so I've just been living it. And then recently, as I get older, I'm thinking, maybe I need to have another dream or dream again, but it hasn't really been coming. It's not a very easy thread to follow. So when Rainer says dream, I'm thinking, okay, this is more than just, let me call a few friends, make a band, propose it to Rainer, come over. It's like, what are the things that are really like all the way up there? So I was thinking, and then I came up with a few names. And I'll just mention them briefly. I think there's no trust broken there. But I was thinking I'd love to play with Keiji Haino. This is like a very spirited, just wild musician from Japan. Then I write him. His manager writes back, he's not vaccinated. He's not getting vaccinated. He's not leaving Japan. Okay. Then I thought, Iggy Pop is actually really close it's close by to Monheim around that time, weirdly. So then I thought, no, that's not quite the right thing. It has a kind of, you're just pushing something that's not really coming from somewhere else. Anyhow, what I mean to say is that all of these various thoughts I had first took a long time to think about, because I'm a very last minute kind of person. Anybody that knows me, it's like really the day before, that's when I'm thinking about doing something.
I can confirm that.
Yes, yeah. And so that's quite tricky, like thinking of it, finding it too late, not vaccinated, et cetera, et cetera. So at this moment, I am, as the French say, sans signature project. However, you never know, because I'm last minute. This one's extremely flexible. And, you know, Germans are flexible in general. So the thing is, I thought
Didn't know.
it may happen. It may happen. And I have right now, what's so beautiful about the last minute is crazy shit happens at the last minute. And this one I can't speak about because it's really very private, but I was going to speak to Rainer about something even today. So we'll see. I think something may come.
Yeah. And you have to mention that you are playing in several bands. You're playing XI, Colin Stetson's signature project, and you're playing with Sam Emmett and some,
That's true. And also, I tend to be like a kind of just an energy dynamic, maybe even more than other things. And so as Ibo's talking about her band, I'm thinking maybe after this I'm going to write Ibo an email. Like, is there like one synth part that you might need that's missing?
Yes.
Because musician number 6 can't come or something. Because when Ibo describes her work, I think that's an experience that I want to have or want to be a part of. And same with Sophia also, although that's like more they're rehearsing in another location. So I'll just likely watch it and deeply enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so this is thanks for this answer. And I have to answer also another question. That was why. What is a signature project? What is it? What is signature project? That was the question, right? What is it?
Who's
what
coming?
Is it?
Which one's coming?
So,
first?
but Shazad already described it. You know, I asked all of our musicians, dream, or what you want to do, or what is your plan, or what might be interesting, and everybody did in several ways. You will come on short call, as I expected. No, it's good. It's good. So we have
I'm half German, you know, what can I do? It's very flexible.
Oh, really? I thought, okay, good. And yes, and Sophia is really, this is, I wouldn't say for all of us, it's a big project. It's really took a lot of work beforehand, and it's a lot of musicians on stage. And also what Ibo is going to do with Naloxica is also very different from another perspective, but all, you know, as already said. So we want to go in any of these because there are 16 very different, very interesting projects, signature projects. But basically, it's fulfilling a dream. You know, it's the offer to make something happen what didn't happen before. So that's in basic the idea. But the additional idea is, so we don't have to forget this one, is that what we did through the prequel to have these last minute collaborations that will also happen this year. So we will not only have the signature projects, we will also have the other part of the festival. But we won't announce that today because we don't know it. So we don't know what happens with these ones. So we just know that you all are there. And this year, there will be lots of more musicians, even the ones Sophia just mentioned, Peter Evans, Oki Young Lee, and Corey Smythe. You know, a lot of musicians are the guys from Naloxica. A lot of additional people will be present here in Monheim, and also for more than one day. So there's a lot of choice. I have to send you the list. So this is always on my book. I will send you all the lists with everybody and all the emails, and make it happen that you can connect. Yeah, that's so. We don't want to get more into the program in details, or should we? No, we don't. Are there more questions, Markus, or are you in the room?
It's fair enough to ask everybody who's here in the house if they have a question. Also, Haben Sie Fragen jetzt? Sie müssen ein Mikrofon benutzen, bitte, damit auch die Gäste hören können, was die Frage sei. Will jemand hier das Eis brechen? Sonst stelle ich noch mal eine. Bitte. Da ist das Mikro.
Thanks a lot. I do have a question to the major. Where does money come from?
Yeah. So you also want to hear about the budget of the festival, or just resources where it's coming? No. Well, the city is funding the festival in total, and we're talking for the big festival a budget of 1.5 million euros. 1.5 million euros per festival. 1,5 Millionen Euro. 1,5 Millionen Euro.
More questions here.
I'm just going to start calling on people like I was doing in the class earlier of these children here in Monheim. So in this checkered shirt over here, can you just ask whatever question you feel like? Just the first one that comes to your mind. Anything you can think of. Because today I did the same thing with a bunch of like 8-year-olds, and they also, occasionally they had trouble, but they worked on it, and then they just thought of their first question. Any first question, anything you can think of, like why does your head look this way? How is the weather? Whatever you can think of.
I'm part of the city hall, so I'm not a normal journalist here.
No problem, that's fine.
So, what did you like most in the last year when you did the prequel here?
That's a great question. It was the summertime, and this city is incredibly beautiful in the summertime. Even today, actually, I've been here these last 2 days because, in a way, one signature project that I can speak about that means a lot to me is how do you get the children that are in a place where you're working to come and be part of what you're doing? How can they perform with you? How can they be part of the festival? How can they improvise with you? And so I spoke to Rainer a while ago and I said, listen, I know the festival's in June, but what if I come a few months before and just hang out with some kids? And so through Rainer and Achim Tang, who've been here for a while doing all this beautiful work with the community, I came early and I came in and out of the schools all day yesterday, all day today. And so what I can say is it's an incredibly charming and beautiful town in terms of the nature feeling here. Also, I don't know a great deal about the history here for Monheim am Rhein or Germany in general, or what's happening culturally, but I feel like there's a lot of interaction between people who emigrate to this area and people who are born and raised here. I feel like they're speaking to each other, they're spending time with each other, they're smiling at each other, they're studying with each other, they're eating with each other, and that really, really moved me a lot. Because what we're seeing in the US right now, particularly with the wonderful tools of Facebook and social media, is more division. All those tools are creating is more separation, less people speaking to each other. And so maybe I'm fantasizing because I don't know the deep history here, but all I can speak to is what I'm actually seeing through the days with my eyes. And that was really a special thing to engage with, especially these last 2 days. That was a good question, see?
Thank you.
Actually, there are quite a lot of questions online, and I'm just going to pop one in for Rainer. In German first. Ist das Schiff fertig? Is the ship going to be ready?
Should I ask in German? No. Yes, the boat is ready. So we visited on the shipyard in the Netherlands in January, right? That was January. Yeah, all is good. So it was. I think it had his very first. What is it?
Inauguration or
whatever maiden voyage. Thank you. In April, so we were ready to go, and it's another ship than we had last year. It's so far we think it's much better. It's much better for us than then the Rhein Fantasy, we had that last year. Now it's the Rhein Galaxy, or the Rhein Galaxy in German.
Nice.
Not Galaxy, no, Rhein Galaxy, yes. And so we like it very much because the stage is on another side. You will see it. It's very, in a way, it really fits to what we're going to do. And yeah, it's ready, yes. Yeah.
So,
Marcus, can I get another question from the room, or you need another one over there?
yeah, I want the room to build up.
Okay.
Both anxiety and question.
Great. Can I get a question from the flower shirt human being here, just with the glasses?
Not even now.
What? Come on, just anything you can think of. Really, I'm really not going to let go. I apologize ahead of time, but just please one question about anything you can think of.
How do you like this place?
This particular cafe? Oh man, so much. That's a great question. I'll tell you about the cafe. So here's the thing. A while ago, I had a friend who lives in Iceland. He was mostly living in New York City, playing with great musicians, so happy. Then he had a falling out. I don't know how you say that in German. Basically, you lose all your friends. Something happens, your friends say, we don't want you here anymore. He was so sad, like totally heartbroken, moves back to Iceland, lives with his parents. He's like in his 50s or 60s, moves back in with his parents. For a good year, he was just sad. Then he decided to open a small room like this, just about like this, middle of downtown. And he said to everybody in the city in Reykjavik, this is a place where people can come and just make creative music, however they want to. Just put 40 chairs, that's it. It absolutely, years later, transformed the music scene. Just having that space and what it does. So Achim was telling me a little bit about this place, right? Now, this is maybe, quote unquote, like a little harder part of town, a little bit of a harsher part of town, so to say. But here it is, and it's a gathering place. So now kids come out of school, they play here. Other people come over here, they perform here. People start coming and collecting. And I'm positive years go by and magic happens here because of that, because of that instinct. So I like this place very much. Short answer.
I'm going to take 2 more questions from the chat, and then I'll ask the room again, and then we will come slowly, ever so slowly, to the end.
Gently to a landing.
One important question comes from some Greg Fox, who might be known, one of the musicians. His question is, does Shahzad live now in Monheim? And can we move there too? And in a more serious vein, it was asked in the chat that it seems like a couple of the musicians that were announced for 2020 are no longer in the roster, namely Shabaka Hutchins and who else? I'm sorry, I forgot the second name. Lakeisha Benjamin. Why is that? How comes, Rainer?
So first question is whether Shahzad is already living in Monheim or not, and whether Greg might move over.
Yep.
Yes. Well, welcome. So as I said already, there has been a lot of changes in the lineup. It's not only Shahzad and it's not only Shabaka and Lakeisha. Also, we lost Tara Tamlitz for some reason, same reasons like KG Julia Lela from Vancouver, she's also not. So these are musicians we will welcome in 25 at least. And Shabaka, for example, he was ready to come in 20, and he would also have been ready to come in 21, but the festival dates in 22nd didn't work out. So we decided not having him in 21 because it makes no sense having a musician 21 not showing up in 22nd. So a lot of different reasons. Lakeisha is a little bit more complicated. That was more or less our decision. So it's a long 2 years are a long time. There's been a lot of decisions done by musicians, by also from ourselves. And now we're more than happy with the 16 musicians we have now here, will have in June. yeah. Maybe that's not the question, but what I wanted to say, we just named a few other musicians, and I wanted also to direct your interest also to all the other musicians behind or on top of the 16 primary musicians, because there is so many that are also will being here in Monheim. Just to name a few, like we have a Moor Mother. She will come for a duo with Farida Amidou. We have Mark Rebo. So Shazad was just on tour with Ceramic Dog and Mark Rebo. He will come with Sam Hamilton. Yeah, we already named the musicians. Sophia, you will bring with you. And Robert Landvermann, for example, is bringing one of the sort of the best of the European scene, with two very, very, very great drummers, just to name two of them. And yeah, so also Colin Stetson. He will bring for XI. He will bring Bridger Campbell, which is quite young. You know Bridger?
I don't, but when Sam found out, Sam Amadon found out,
did he?
He was losing his mind.
Okay,
She's amazing musician.
I was surprised too, because he I never heard her before, and that was very interesting. She's just 24, right?
Yeah.
And for example, then Jennifer Walsh is bringing Matmos. That was also very surprising.
Yeah.
To bring these two guys finally back to Europe. So there's a lot of more musicians that are coming, but the question is, over 2 years, a lot of change has happened. Yep.
Danke. So as I said earlier, once again, my question to the room: Does anyone want to pitch in? Gibt es noch Fragen von Ihnen ans Podium? Es ist so, dass wir...
Wait. I'm going to ask the pink shirt person here. Could I get a question? Yeah, please, thanks.
Okay, I have a question.
Great.
I'd like to know what exactly does...
The microphone's coming. And Julian.
Okay, I'd like to know what exactly signature means in that respect.
You will answer that, or sure?
Sure, as you like.
Yeah, please. Okay. Yeah, he will answer.
All right, I'll answer it. So what it means is that, again, as I said earlier, because Rainer is saying to each of these musicians, dream. And so then I imagine what it meant to me when he was asking me to bring a signature project and to dream about it. It's like, how would I say, actually, we could even talk about literally signature or your fingerprint, because your fingerprint is surprisingly only unique to you. There's billions of people in the world. No one has your fingerprint. So I'll quickly say, Emerson wrote this essay, which was very problem-solving for me a long time ago. He said, you have a garden, and that garden only sees the sunshine a very specific way. No other piece of land sees the same angle of the sun in the same way at the same time. So therefore, what is growing there is unique and must be seen. In the same way, you have a history that nobody else has. Nobody else grew up where you did and had the same exact thread of experiences. So therefore, you must write, you must paint, you must make music, not because it might be good or bad or well regarded, but simply because if you don't make it, no one ever will see that music again. Because no one else can make it, because it's specifically from your chain of experiences. So in that way, a signature project is what I could bring as a musician that no one else could bring. Because maybe I've met those people in the world, and maybe I have those thoughts, or maybe I have those notes, or that conceptual idea.
Thank you. Thank you, Shazad. If anybody wants to book Shazad for karmic adjustment sessions, please, contact me. So there's another question there, Frau Geier.
Actually, two. One is, are you also integrating the kids like you did last year? Because you haven't mentioned it yet this year. And then the second one, what about the artists? Are they arriving a bit earlier, or so that they can catch up to
I
stuff?
could take the first one. You could take the second one, just because I know about the Achim. Yeah. So what? So the first question was, are we integrating the kids this year? And I can speak to that directly because that's my big interest. So I came early. Potentially. I came early and spent these last couple of days with Achim. So now through Achim, I understand that, number one, there are a couple of hip-hop gangsters who are kids who will be performing. So yesterday, they're playing the YouTube tracks that they've been writing their raps to on the microphone. And then Achim and me and this adorable drummer, Sergio, baseball hat, backwards, short, kid, and then another kid playing piano. We were trying to learn the YouTube backing track, and so we'll play with them. So me and Achim, Sergio on a drum, and then another fellow playing piano and keyboards. That will be one of the performances, 2 young gangster rappers. Then there's a choir of kids who Achim has written arrangements for of some of Sam Amidon's music. So they will perform with us. So when Sam performs a set of his songs, there'll be this choir of kids from Monheim. Then I exactly as you suggested, I leave tonight for the Neptune Bad in Cologne. And then while I'm there, I want to think about how else can I get the kids here? Because I really want that. So I've been very moved by conducted improvising, which is where you have a conductor, but they're still essentially saying, you speak what you want to speak. And I want to see if there's any room to grab some kids and make a little improvisation concert with them. Yeah.
Yes, and the other question, yes. So we invited all musicians to come as early as they want. So Niloxica, I guess they are coming a week before. I don't know exactly the dates when they arrive. But Achim, you know when?
Yeah, they will be here on Sunday.
Okay, Sunday.
They will be heard in town before the festival.
Okay, so
Sunday before the festival.
Yeah, so there will lot. So some others just arrive on Monday. So we invited them to come as early as they can, and there will be a lot of musicians in town. So for the whole week, and they all stay. So far we know, and so far we hope. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap it up now. Thanks to everybody on the podium. Thanks to our guests in Stockholm and Kampala.
Thank you. Good you're here today.
Thanks to everybody in the chat, watching us from afar. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your questions. I'm very sorry that I could bring just 2 or 3 questions in.
Give them my email address just for the rest of the questions.
For everybody who was out there with us, please come to Monheim, join us on the 22nd. We are just gonna, have some easy time now. You're invited to drinks and finger food. Thanks everybody for coming. See you. Bye.
I just have one last remark. Just one is that Colorblay will turn 86 tomorrow. So that's a very important birthday to celebrate. Just for all who are writing articles, producing radio shows, 86 Colorblay tomorrow.
Happy birthday.